Let's take you to our earlier and latest story where we told you that after more than 4 months of industrial action, the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities and Non-Academic Staff Union of Allied and Education Institutions have suspended their industrial actions. And have joining me the National President, SSANU, Mohammed Ibrahim. Let me quickly confirm your audio before we start this conversation. Thanks for joining us on the news. Fantastic. So the education minister said that the federal government has committed 50 billion naira to pay earned allowances for members of SSANU, NASU, and the academic staff union of the university. So how far-reaching will that go in resolving your grievances?
Well, I think you need to recall that this thing all started from the 27th of March when we had to declare a 2 weeks warning strike. Then we kept rolling over up to the last one we had that we rolled over for 3 months, which was to expire by the end of this month. Now, prior to this, and in 2 years ago, we have been having this the dialogue with the federal government through the Ministry of Labor. And all the MOUs and MOS that were signed did not see the light of the day simply because there was no cooperation on the part of the Federal Ministry of Education, which is our employer. Now, going forward, the Federal Ministry of Education, and after the directive given by the President and the commitment by the Minister of Education that this issue should be sorted once and for all, the ministry, invited us, and that we only represented what we had really submitted to government much earlier. We had 8 key demands. That and allowances was just one out of it. And that between that period and now, that led to the culmination of whatever that we started, we had substantially agreed with government, and they have shown us enough commitment by signing a document with us with timelines of 2 months, within which to ensure that such problems have been sorted. One of it is, which you mentioned, the EA, which the minister today told journalists that government had approved and is ready to disburse the sum of 50 billion naira to the 4 university-based unions through the universities this time. These monies will hit the university accounts, and it's for the universities now to give those that are supposed to earn or that have earned these allowances. Then, of course, we had these issues about the inconsistencies in IPs, because most of our salaries and our allowances were mutilated immediately we joined IPs. And going forward, we have now signed an agreement, and because also the government has directed for the testing of the 3 platforms, IPs, UTAS, and U3PS, we have also agreed with government before the expiration of this deadline, the results will be out. And already the Ministry of Education and federal government had told you that IPs has failed flat, and that the U3PS and UTAS are the ones that have performed better than IPs. And that, but we have demanded that let the result be released. So they have agreed to do that. Then, of course, one of our demands was also the non-payment of the arrears of consequential adjustment of minimum wage, which we can report effectively and confidently too that over 90%, about 90% of our members have been paid. We only have cases of those that have been omitted, and government has made a commitment that NUC has been directed by the Minister of Education that all those omitted should be, universities should forward their names for compilation and for payment also within this deadline. We have also agreed with government the white paper on the visitation panels will also be out, the report, because it's just waiting for a gazetting. And that we said that since it has reached that, we also expect that between this and now and the deadline of 2 months, this thing will be made available. And of course, the issue of the increment in salary. We have also been presented by a reviewed salary table, and we have also agreed that the implementation will be as soon as we accept. So, and that this is also not an issue that we would like to overflow. So for us, substantially, we came on, we declared strike, that's the non-teaching staff, because we had issues with government. and the leadership has engaged government, and the Ministry of Education, which is our employer, has now shown commitment, and we have.
Well, Mr. Mohammed Ibrahim, I'm afraid we lost connectivity with you, but if you can hear me very quickly because of our time, it's good to know that by 24th of this month, you'll be back to your place of work. But then we understand that ASU will not be going back, according to what the Minister of Education said, that they said that 6-month backlog before the lecturers resume. And then we know that the students are actually the one bearing the brunt. Does that mean that, or will that mean that the students are not going to be back on campus anytime, any moment now?
I think you should also understand that the university has 3 core mandates: teaching, research, and community service. ASU represent an aspect, very important aspect of the university community, to teach and do research. And then, of course, these mandates cannot take place without the presence of the non-teaching staff. We do administration, we take care of the welfare of staff, we give water, electricity,